Welcome back, guys, to today's episode of this debate with Shamoun. As a Muslim cannot answer this question concerning the Quran's corruption in early Islam. Let's watch this amazing video to get more details.
I've been told that Uthman got rid of the Qurans from the community because everyone was just writing the Quran, their own Qurans.
Yeah, that's not true, friend. I'm not trying to cut you off. That's not true. Go read your sources carefully. I have the traditions in front of me. The Qurans that he burned included the Qurans of Abdullah ibn Masud, which is why he objected. So it's not just people, it was the Qurans of the other Sahaba. This is in your sources, so I don't know.
The thing is, there were so many people writing it. His companions were writing it. There were so many people in the communities who were writing it. So what Uthman did, he got angry and thought, what the heck are we all writing it for? So he got everyone's Qurans and got rid of them. And then he compiled. Yeah, and then he compiled the one that he wanted to. Because
Stop slowly.
He compiled. He got rid of them all, and then he compiled the one.
You didn't hear my question. In your hadith, Bukhari and Muslim, and I can give it to you right now if you want, and I will. It says, when you learn the Quran, learn it from four. And two people he mentioned was Abdullah ibn Masud, Ubay bin Ka'b. So if he burned these Qurans by neophytes who didn't know the Quran, that's one thing. Why did he burn and forced Abdullah bin Masud to give up his Quran and burn them when Abdullah bin Masud and Ubay bin Ka'b were two of the four that Muhammad said learned the Quran from? So why burn them?
I don't know, to be honest, I haven't heard of that one before. But
let me get you the hadith. You want me to get you the hadith?
Yeah, go on. Abdullah bin Masud was mentioned before. Abdullah bin Amr, who said, "This is the man I still love, as I heard the Prophet saying, learn the recitation of the Quran from Abdullah bin Masud." He started with him Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, Muad bin Jabal, and Ubay bin Ka'b.
Okay, now because you were not loud enough, everyone heard. Narit Masruq, Abdullah bin Masud was mentioned before Abdullah bin Amr, who said. So someone mentioned the Abdullah ibn Amr, Abdullah bin Masud. What did Abdullah ibn Amr say? That is a man I still love. Why does he love him? As I heard the Prophet saying, learn the recitation or reading of Quran from four. From Abdullah bin Masud. He started with him. Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudayfa, Muad bin Jabal, and Ubay bin Ka'b. Do you see why Abdullah ibn Amr loved Abdullah ibn Masud?
Yeah.
Why did he love him? According to Sahih Bukhari, Volume 5, Hadith 153. Why did he love him? Do you see it? I can't hear you.
Yeah, just...
Okay. He loved him. Let me explain it then. He loved him because when your Prophet said learn the Quran, it said he started with him first. Meaning he was the most qualified in teaching you the Quran. And also in the list was Ubay bin Ka'b. So if your Prophet said, these are the men to learn the Quran from, he didn't mention Zayd ibn Thabit. He did not mention him in the floor. And Abdullah bin Masud, he began with him, which is why Abdullah ibn Amr loved him, because he saw how important he was to your Prophet and how much knowledge he had of the Quran. What business did Uthman have to demand Abdullah bin Masud to give up his Quran and burn his Quran and Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran when they were more qualified than Zayd? In fact, you should know this. Abdullah bin Masud was one of the migrants. He was part of the Muhajirun. He was the one who became Muslim Mecca and then migrated to Medina, whereas Zayd was an Ansar, meaning he only became Muslim later when Muhammad went to Medina. That means Abdullah ibn Masud for all those years was a Muslim before even Zayd knew what Islam was. So who gave Uthman the right to do that?
I don't know what happened there, but he was a good writer of the Quran. The one that they run about.
Who was?
Ibn Masud.
Yeah, not only good. Muhammad started with him first, meaning he's the most qualified, and mentioned Ubay bin Ka'b. He didn't mention Zayd ibn Thabit in that list, did he?
No.
Okay, so my question is, why did Uthman, who's not a prophet or messenger, determine we're going to make the copy of Zayd official and the rest we're going to burn? Why did he do that? That included destroying Abdullah bin Masud's Quran. Why? I'm still waiting for the answer. Why?
Wasn't it got to do with what's that word called? Wasn't it got to do with the wordings? You know the.
Do you mean the ahruf?
Oh, what's that thing called? Is it the? You know, we have different readings of.
No,
Quran.
It's not just different readings. If you're meaning dialect, no, the readings were different. So much so that when they were reading the Quran, they didn't even sound the same. Not because of dialect. I'll tell you why.
Okay, guys. Before we continue with our video, each time the Muslim is says that the Bible has been corrupted, it is not because the Bible is actually corrupted. It is because of their insecurity that their Qurans were altered during the early Islam. From this debate, from this video now, you can see that the early Quran were altered. Some of them were burnt by a man named Uthman, and then the Quran that he burnt were from a man who was a direct companion of Muhammad. So Shamoun now is trying to ask, who gave Uthman this right to burn this Quran? And the reason why the Quran were burnt was because they sounded differently. They were from these different sources, so they sounded differently, and they were causing confusion at that time between the Muslim believers. So if your Quran is causing confusion, that is another proof that it is not true, right? So they had to do away with some of these Quran, some of the teachings, and then merge them together. They got them burnt. Guys, can you see where the insecurity is coming from? That is the main reason why they are saying that the Bible has been corrupted, just for the insecurity of their own Quran. Guys, let's go back to this video to get more details.
Hadith, and I'm going to give it to you right now, where Omar went to prayer and Hisham was reciting Surah 25. And when he recited Surah 25, it was so different that Omar wanted to attack him but waited for the prayer to finish. Then when it finished, he grabbed Hisham violently by his collar and dragged him to your prophet, and he said, I heard this man reciting Surah Al-Furqan, Surah 25, differently from the way you taught me. So then your prophet said to Hisham, recite. He goes, yes, that's how I taught you. And Omar was shocked. And then he asked Omar, you recite? And when he recited, he goes, yes, I taught that way to you. The problem is they're both Qurayshi. They both spoke the same dialect. So the difference wasn't in the dialect, because Omar spoke Qurayshi dialect, Hisham spoke Qurayshi dialect, but when Hisham recited chapter 25, it was so different from the way Omar learned it that Omar was shocked. So it's not dialectal differences. The differences is in the actual wording of the chapter. And Muhammad said, oh yeah, I taught you, Hisham, that way. And Omar, I taught you that way because Allah revealed the Quran to me in 7 ahruf. And to this day, the scholars do not know what the 7 ahruf were. So, yeah. But that didn't answer my question, Saf. Why did Uthman burn the Qurans of Ubay bin Ka'b and Abdullah bin Masud when your prophet said these are two of the four that are most qualified to learn the Quran from, not from Zayd ibn Thabit?
To be honest, yeah, I don't know about this one. I need to find out about this.
Okay. So we can get off that topic until you study it. And another thing, I want you to study this very carefully. This is from your sources, not mine, and I have all the documentation. Your own sources say that Abdullah ibn Masud only had 111 chapters of the Quran, because he said Surah Al-Fatiha and the last two surahs are prayers. They're not part of the Quran. Ubay bin Ka'b had 116 surahs that he claimed your prophet taught him as part of the Quran. So even with Abdullah bin Masud and Ubay bin Ka'b, they could not agree how many surahs did Allah sent down as part of the Quran and how many verses each surah contained. So you have Abdullah bin Masud, who only had 111 surahs, Ubay bin Ka'b, who had 116, but what you have today is 114. What's going on here?
No, but I thought they had it all memorized, all of them.
Thank you. Why is it they memorized the Quran and they couldn't agree? Because the way they memorized it was different from the other. You're making my case.
No, but then memorized the full Quran, so they all agreed it was 100.
No, they didn't. Ubay bin Ka'b memorized the Quran fully, and he disagreed with Zayd and Abdullah bin Masud. Abdullah bin Masud memorized the Quran fully, and he disagreed with Zayd and Ubay bin Ka'b. That's the whole point. That's my argument. How could people learn the Quran from the same man, memorize it from A to Z, but when they write it down, they're full of contradictions and don't agree? That's exactly my argument. Explain that.
I don't know, but how could they all memorize the Quran and then they all disagree? I leave that.
Exactly.
Leave that, Sam. No, come on, Sam. No, man. They all.
My brother in humanity, I just quoted you your hadiths. I didn't make it up.
But they all agreed at the end. They all agreed at the end. There's
no, they didn't.
Come on.
No, Abdullah ibn Masud. Well, I'm going to give you the source to prove it. Abdullah ibn Masud till the end opposed Uthman to the point that when Abdullah ibn Masud entered the mosque with Uthman, he got beaten and his ribs got broken and he died from the wounds.
I'll do my research into that.
Okay.
Yeah?
Do your research there.
Alright, welcome back, guys. That was a very, very fascinating and educating one from Shamoun. Honestly, Sam is a blessing. As in, Sam alone is an encyclopedia. He's not referring to any book at all, but he's quoting it verbatim from his knowledge. I believe Psalm is a blessing to the whole body of Christ at large. And then these are histories that we have to have on our fingertips because of the lies these guys are bringing up these days, that the Bible has been corrupted. Now you can see that this lie is coming from their own insecurity concerning their Quran, because their Quran was corrupted in the early Islam after the death of the Prophet. A man named Uthman who got up and began to burn the Quran, even the ones that were taken from the early men who were the companion of the Prophet. They collected their own and then began to burn it in an attempt to unify the Quran, because at that time this Quran were different. One person will recite, it will be different, it will be different from the another, and it is not the difference in translation, because at that time these people were the same language, so it was not a case of translation. So they were the same language and the difference was in wording, and the Prophet confirmed that he is the one that taught them differently. Can you see that there is a lot of contradiction from those early Islam? So they wanted to unify, so Uthman got up and began to burn the Quran that he felt were not right. So if you're saying that any book is corrupted or has been altered, it should be the Quran of Islam. Guys, let's know what you think about this debate in the comment section, and also don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos. Thank you, and see you in our next video.